Now, just while we're on the subject there, you touched on it there, Liam. You were at Goodison yesterday. Arsenal are in a real scrap with Manchester United, Chelsea, Spurs to get a Champions League spot next season. He's done a good job, Emery, but that was a bad setback against an Everton team that have got a couple of good results in the last few weeks, but hadn't been great before. It's tough. Arsenal really, really need to be in the Champions League, and this is a tough dogfight they're in, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I thought he got his team selection wrong yesterday. I think picking Mkhitaryan and Ozil in the game that you know where Everton are going to get stuck into at Goodison, I think was the wrong decision, and I think that was quite evident. Ozil eventually was substituted, but Mkhitaryan hardly contributed to the game at all. And to have someone like Aubameyang who's got pace to trouble the defence, he wasn't on the pitch from the beginning, and Ramsey, who's a better player than either Ozil or Mkhitaryan, not to start him as well. He got it wrong. Perhaps he was having a look on Thursday night, but Sunday to Thursday there's plenty of time to recover.
Yeah,
and I think he got his selection wrong, and we've gone on for the last 2 years about Ozil Emery. Watching him yesterday again, really no interest in showing the commitment that you have to show at a place like Goodison against a team like Everton. He was a passenger, and we were playing with 10 men, and it could cost us the qualification for the Champions League. As you say, it's very, very tight. You've got Man United in there fighting for it. You've got Spurs. You've got Chelsea. They're all good sides. And Arsenal really, that was a poor performance. They have not kept a clean sheet away from home all season. Yeah. I think that says it all.
It's a bad stat, John. Ozil is a kind of mystery. This is a player who played in the German team that won the World Cup in 2014. Arsene Wenger, one of the best judges really of all time, I suppose, in the game, bought him. His last act, Wenger, almost before he left Arsenal, was to give him a 350 grand a week contract.
No, I'll stop you there, Eamon.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think that was down to. I don't think that was down to Arsene Wenger. I think that was down to the chief executive at the time, Ivan Gazidis.
Okay, I'm very sorry. Sorry, Arsene. Yeah. But anyway,
Arsene had lost control.
I know Arsene was the manager, but the call was by Gazidis. To give him that contract.
Thanks, Liam. Sorry, now
I think when you're talking about Ozil, Lehman and Mkhitaryan, that we're talking about him, we shouldn't be talking about him at Arsenal.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Right? Many times have we said about Ozil over the last 18 months particularly, he played well last week, but they're no good.
Yeah.
Get them out.
Yeah.
Don't play them at all.
Yeah.
You're better having a young fella in, having a go, than watching Ozil doing what he did yesterday.
Yeah.
Or Mkhitaryan, for example.
Yeah.
They're no good, and they're never going to do it. And once you hear the player saying the player on his day, and when he does this, when he's in the mood, and we've talked about this before, forget about them.
Yes.
How do you know when they're going to be in the mood?
No.
You want them in the mood yesterday when they're up against Everton, who are getting stuck into them, and they disappear.
Yeah.
They're no good, Eamon. And it's difficult for the manager. He didn't bring them in, but he's got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
No, and he's got to give him time to do it. But once you hear these guys, if he does this, if he does that, and he's on his day, and he's got, and he's a great player, but he hasn't got much heart, forget about it.
Liam, just a point about Arsenal and the sort of image of the club and the branding of the club. You had this great team with Adams and Martin Keown and that. It was tough, hard lads. Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit, tough, hard. Now the image of Arsenal, in my mind, for several years now really, but frail, no steel, not really up for the fight. And it seems to have infected the whole club really, that how do you turn this around and get rid of that idea that you won't be able to go to Goodison or anywhere really and put up a fight and have 11 guys having a go?
Well, it has to come back to recruitment, Eamon. That has to be, changed by recruitment. You have to get the players in who have got the steel and have got the determination to do it. And as John said, Emery's only in the job in his first season, and it's going to take time to get rid of the people that don't show that commitment. And it's not easy in this day and age. As you mentioned there, Ozil is getting paid 350 grand a week. There was a period there a couple of months ago that Emery left them out, and the results weren't very good. And then the fans start saying, "Well, Ozil should be in the team," and he's brought him back in. It's a difficult situation for a manager. It would be great if someone was to be able to come in and say, "Okay, we'll take him off your hands." And maybe go off to China or go maybe to Turkey, one of the big teams in Turkey. Yeah. But none of the big teams in Europe are going to take him. And that's the difficulty that Emery has. But we can only get that fight and determination still back in the team by recruitment, by signing the players who have that quality.
Yeah,
it's got to get them out.
Just a final thought.
I don't have to play them. Leave them out of the team altogether. And what should happen as well? The finger from the supporters' point of view should be pointed at the guy who made that decision for Ozil.
Yep.
He's not saying who was it, Liam?
Gazidis. He was the
chief executive, Ivan Gazidis. Yeah.
Well, I don't see him.
If you remember, both players were out of the contract. Were running out of contract. Yeah. Was Sanchez and Ozil. Yeah. And I think Sanchez we knew we were going to lose him. He wasn't going to sign. And eventually, he went to Manchester United. We got Mkhitaryan in return. I don't think Manchester United are happy with Sanchez. I'm certainly not happy with Mkhitaryan. No. But nobody wanted Ozil. No. Nobody wanted Ozil. And still Gazidis gave him that kind of contract.
Yeah, well, he should be outed. Because I don't mind the manager, because a lot of people think, this is Emery, or it was Wenger, as Eamon did early on, thought it was Wenger that did the business. He didn't, and this guy should be out for what they're doing.
Well, he's gone now, Johnny.
He won't be doing it. He won't make it anymore.
He's jumped ship.
But they should definitely get rid of him, Eamon. It's no good taking Ozil to Goodison and Mkhitaryan to Goodison on the hope that they'll do it, and they're the only ones. Put two young fellas in.
Yep.
Get them out. Get them out of the bag. Let him go for nothing. Let him do whatever you do. He's not going to get a return on it, whatever money they're paying him.
No,
let him go for nothing and make his own way. They made a mistake, but if you keep on with him, the mistake is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I think the net point also is worth saying, I suppose, at the end of this conversation, that Unai Emery was very good coach with Sevilla. Did a good job at PSG. He's done a good job at Arsenal, but he's lumbered with this problem, and he has to cut it out of the club.
It's not his fault, Eamon.
No,
it's not his fault. He's inherited that, and you've got to give him at least 12 months to get the people in you want, and get rid of the guys that you don't want. And sometimes it's harder to get rid of the guys you don't want to get the good guys in. Yeah. But that's what he's going to have to do. I wouldn't play him at all.
Okay. No. Big headache.